How's it going, everyone? This is Algo Automation doing another fantastic review on by far one of my favorite indicator systems out there. Recently launched. It's called Sonar Labs. So I'll put the link down in the description if you want to try their indicator out. But I highly recommend. It is insane what this team has been doing. So I'm going to walk through their two indicators: the Sonar Lab Liquid and the Sonar Lab SMS. And it has some insane features. Highly recommend giving it a shot. And then if you have any questions about it or you want to join their Discord, I will link down below as well for that. So I'm going to go ahead and bring to front so you can see the trends that they have signaled. So base functionality, this is what it exactly looks like, the two indicators. I'm going to start with the first one. I'm going to start with the Sonar Lab Liquid, which is your buy sell signals. So as you can see, these are your buy sell signals, kind of has the trend. Here you have the take profits. So these little circles are the take profits. So great signals right off the bat. You can tell that they have long trends. They catch the trends on the uptrend and the downtrend. The take profits are there as well. And then they have during chop markets, every indicator would have gotten beat up a little bit around here, but their other confirmation features would have helped a lot. So I'll cover those in just a second. Over here, they have the table that basically shows what the trading session is, what the signal settings are. So I'll walk through that in a second. The volatility, what's the strength of the trend? So that's going to be measured using, I believe, an ADX, but I'm not exactly sure. And then directional bias, so extremely strong uptrend, as you can see. Structure, so that's another portion of their indicator. So these are the base functionalities, but we'll jump into some of the other stuff here. So signal settings, first off, is you can change your signal settings to either be a scalper, a day trader, or a swing trader. So let's say we are doing swing trading, and we will go to, so as you can see, it's only taking buy signals because we are still in a bullish market in an uptrend. So what it's doing is it's filtering based off of a higher time frame trend. And as you can see, you're taking those buy signals on the uptrend, right? So that's kind of the basic thought process behind these filters here. And then if you're a scalper or a day trader, you're going to have much more aggressive settings. So I believe scalp is working, it works better for the shorter time frames. But if you're even trying to do it on the 4-hour time frame, it filters out the signals that you necessarily shouldn't be taking. So very cool feature here. I am just going to change it back to custom. So for stop loss and take profit, they actually give you the ability to change what you want your take profit to be based off of. So for this, I'm going to do my take profit based off of risk reward. And I'm going to do my stop loss based on an ATR. So then you come over here and I'll hide the table so that you can see the rest of it. So I'll hide the trading panel. So now you have your stop loss, which is ATR based, and then you have your first take profit, which is going to be your risk reward, right? So if your entry is at your stop loss, and then you have your take profit at 419.10. Remember, this is a 4-hour time frame, so it's going to be a lot more aggressive, or a lot more longer term per se. Let's hop over to a stock like let's look at a meme stock kind of that everyone likes to trade. All right, here's another one. So yeah, stop loss, take profit, because it is a trailing. So the stop loss trails with the price. So as you can see, the stop loss will change as you go down in price. All righty, so let's go back to, these are the overlays. So a ton of cool features within this. Don't worry about these settings down here. That's the trading panel. Here's the customization. But here is where you are going to see a lot of the benefits. So first we'll add the main structure line and the structure high and structure low. And so these are basically going to help you identify the overall trend. So the sell signals come with a structure line, so that helps you identify, hey, we're in a sell signal, we're in a downtrend. And then the structure lines help you identify where the trend is changing, right? So if you're a trader, you know that higher highs and higher lows, or lower lows and lower highs, indicate a downtrend. So we have a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. And here's where the trend starts to change. So now you have an equal low, which could potentially be a double bottom, and then you have a higher low. So here is where the trend is changing. And it's a really cool feature because it tells you, it helps you identify visually where that trend is potentially changing. So this could be a potential area for a buy once you see the buy signal. Once again, we're still in a downtrend, so I wouldn't mess too much with that. So very cool feature here. We'll add the moving average clouds and the pivot points. So same thing, pivot points. These are going to be exactly the same as the previous indicator, except it identifies with words instead of the lines. So that's just an additional feature, but very cool Ema Cloud kind of feature here is it actually includes the Ema Cloud, but what it does is once the price gets back into that price action, it actually like removes the color of the Ema Cloud, which is very cool. So let me remove the pivot points. So now you can see you have your signals. Like for instance, here, I probably would have not taken these sell signals just because the Ema Cloud is still bullish. And so that's kind of how you can filter out those signals is based on that. But very cool Ema Cloud. I love the fact that it actually filters out the signals, or it filters out the color shaded based on where the candles are within the indicator. So very cool feature there. Alrighty, let's see here. So as you can see, very profitable. We got nice buy signals, sell signals, take profits, these little dots, and then reversals and so forth. All right, so let's go to the supply and demand feature, which is I think personally, a fantastic feature. As you can see here, especially on stocks like this, you have supply and demand zones, and that's where you're going to see support and resistance. So it's color shaded based on if it's support or resistance, support demand zone right here, and then resistance, resistance, resistance. And this is a cool feature because it identifies where you're going to see potentially large selling or large order blocks where traders are going to be looking to short or to buy. So right now I would be buying right here off this support in this support zone, and then selling off of this one, and this one. The size is simply based off of the wick. So that would be a larger order block, where more aggressive short would be based off of a larger block. So that's what the size is for. So very cool feature there. Let's do support and resistance and trend lines. So trend lines, you can change there's a lot of trend lines there. So we'll get rid of that because you can actually change the sensitivity down at the bottom. So we'll start with support and resistance. So great support and resistance levels. As you can see on the 4-hour time frame, the majority of the support is going to be here and here. But let's jump over to a stock like Tesla so we can see visually where the rest of them are. So here you got one here, bam, 4-hour. It actually gives you the time frame of that support and resistance, which is also very cool. So 4-hour and daily time frame support here, 4-hour support here, hourly supports here and here, and then you have your daily resistance here. So very cool that it gives you the time frame of what the actual trade is. So that's extremely valuable. All right, so let's go to the reversion bands. I'm gonna get rid of that stuff. So your reversion bands are going to be basically like it's kind of like a Bollinger Band, but it's better because Bollinger Bands are not as useful in my opinion. Here, for example, it helps you identify where the trend is constricting. So as you can see, it's kind of constricting and bouncing between these Bollinger Bands, but then you see this big breakout. When they widen like this, that's when you know there's going to be a nice trend. So constricted, 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 widens, 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 and then that's where the uptrend begins for the Tesla 4-hour. So what you do is you use these, I use these bands as kind of like support and resistance, but also to identify where the trend is continuously, or where the trend is about to occur, basically. All right, pivot lines, second trend structure are the last two main features. Whoops. I'll get rid of that for a second. So Second trend structure is going to be a different calculation in a lot of instances. As you can see, it's further confirmation. So as you can see, sell signal is here, but the buy signal comes in here. If you wanted to do it based off of the confirmation of the second trend structure, you have a buy signal, but then you also have another buy signal here when price crosses above. That's a double buy, so buy and a buy, and then that's where you see the nice trend change, right? So it's just additional confirmation. Like here, you happen to have a buy signal and the trend structure change, and then you have a nice uptrend. Same thing here, you have a sell signal, and then you also have the sell signal, so it's a double confirmation. So the second term trend structure is just calculated differently, and it's used to identify that. So, alrighty. Let's see. If you want to filter signals based on the EMA clouds or moving average clouds, that's also something you can do. You can filter based on any of these moving averages. I like to use the EMA cloud to filter. We'll do 21 and 51, and we want to filter those signals out. And let's show that on the chart. So now you're only taking trades that agree with the trend. So buy signal, buy signal, buy signal, sell signal. So that's kind of like the mentality is, instead of just having to filter manually or visually based on that, it actually gives you the ability to filter based on the signals that are built into the algorithm. So very cool feature there. So I usually will have my EMA cloud filter on all the time, and I'll turn it to a higher time frame, like 100 and a 50 or something like that. But all right, so these are another cool features. You can change the side of the trading panel, change the size, the trend, the strength, the colors, and so forth. Pivots you can change to classic Fibonacci or traditional or Camarilla or Rilla. I don't even know what that is. But also another cool feature. Let's see, I think that would be it for the main functionality of this indicator. So let's hop over to the Sonar Lab SMS, which is something I typically don't see in indicators. It is a very, very powerful function or feature that this team has built. So first things first is it gives you these pivot points. So this is going to be your weekly high, your daily high, your weekly and daily high right here. And then these are order blocks. So these are large orders that have been filled that are driving price up. And so what you can use these as is support and resistance for potential reversals. So let's go over here to the main features. Let's see, we'll do the trend color. We'll highlight the BOS candles. All right. So we have everything built into here. So what these are, these order blocks, is we'll go to a smaller time frame so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, right here. So like right here is where there is a large order that created that big spike, or a large series of orders that created that big spike. So if you're going to see a reversal from that daily pivot right here back down to that 1005 mark, that's likely where you're going to see some buying pressure, which is something that you don't necessarily see on any TradingView indicators. They were able to actually program that into it, which is very, very, very cool. Then you have up here, you have your resistance zones or your supply zones, as well as your weekly pivot. So if you are in a trade based off of this order block, then you're potentially going to be getting out of that trade at 1183. So that's going to be kind of like your take profit if you're trying to use basic market structure, supply and demand. Let's check out Apple. So Apple, same thing here. It's been on a huge bull run. So it's had a lot of order blocks, large order block, large order block, large order block, large order block. So very strong. Right now, we're up against that resistance point. So this is not something I necessarily would want to trade, but you can see it has that weekly pivot high, the daily pivot high. And so this is an area where you probably should be paying attention to getting out of your longs or potentially going short, right? Let's check the settings, trend color highlight. You can change the sensitivity. So if you want there to be less order blocks, smaller order blocks, or not as many, you can change the sensitivity. You can change the bullish order blocks to be based on something else, like the candle wicks or the body of the candles. And you can show the balance in volume, or show the volume in balance. So very cool. And then you can change the format of the weekly and daily pivots if you would like to do that as well. Let's check out one more thing, like a crypto. Let's check out Bitcoin. So same concept here. You have a nice demand zone here, and then here's your big bearish order block. And it didn't quite make it to that bullish or that bearish resistance kind of supply zone. But as you can see, you're basically be playing against between these zones. So it's very cool for identifying market structure. As you can see, that daily pivot price broke below it, broke below this support. It broke below the daily pivot, and then it retested that, and now it's on a downtrend, likely to this level right here, right? So what you can do is you can use a combination of both of these indicators. You don't want to put too much stuff on the chart at any given time, but if you are a trader that likes to trade actively, these indicators are going to be your best bet. I've worked with these guys. They're great people. They're great developers, and they are constantly changing, innovating. So highly recommend giving it a shot. If you have any questions about the indicators, what I think, the settings I use, please let me know down in the comments, and I am happy to assist. Appreciate it, guys, and have a great rest of your day.